Good morning, YouTube. January 29th, 2017. New project I'm working on. It's actually an old project that I have back in my possession. It's a 68 Firebird convertible that I started building back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I had kids and it needed way too much work for me to finish, so I gave it away. And my brother's had it for the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years, 7 years. And he put it together. He put it together more as a driver for his son, my nephew, and it was his first car. And he drove it to work and drove it to college, and now he's out in the workforce, so he doesn't need it anymore. He bought a reliable, practical car, and he surrendered the Firebird, and my brother couldn't sell it, so we made a deal for my '84 Hearst Olds that I've had video of before. So now the Firebird's back in my hands, and my brother has the Hearst Olds. So it's overall in good shape. I did a ton of work to it when I had it. He finished it off. The floors were replaced, the trunk, the taillight panel, the quarters, the front fenders are off a different car, the doors are off a Camaro. I mean, pretty much every panel of this car has been changed other than the rockers. I did a lot of floor and frame work. I put subframe connectors in it, made my own basically. My original vision was to put a turbo Buick V6 in it, so I set it up for that. But he decided to go with the lame little small block Chevy just as a reliable driver for my nephew. It's just an 8.5 to 1, 350 full bolt main, nothing fancy. It's a 252 cam, quadra-jet, a plumber intake. It's performance-wise. I had vet brakes, aluminum fiberglass front and rear springs in it. The front was a transverse, the rear is the fiberglass monoleafs. He took the front one out because the road is just too harsh for him. So it has regular coil springs in it now. I took them out and cut them, coil and a half, because it sat too high. I have to drop the back down because it sits way too high in the back. I have lowering blocks there on the floor. I'll put them in today or tomorrow. And I'm just doing some odds and ends, clean some wiring up and some repainting up here. It was getting rusty from, it was an everyday drive of my nephew for years, probably 4 years. Just, routine crap. And like I said, I cut the coil springs down. I'll do a lot of maintenance things to it and clean it up. Ultimately, I'll either put a Pontiac motor in it or one of several old engines I have kicking around. I have a 350 I rebuilt. I have a couple of 455s I need to assemble. So who knows? Who knows what this car will get? It had 6-cylinder originally, so it's not a valuable car by any means. It's got a 350 transmission. It's got a B&M, I don't know what that is, a Z-gate, some piece of shit shifter. Got a cool steering wheel, decent stereo. The interior is in original, really good shape. It's dirty, but the seats are all in original, really good shape. It's parchment vinyl, which I guess is pretty rare. I don't know. No air car. Originally had power steering and manual brakes. Now it's got four-wheel disc. It's a 79 Firebird subframe, so it has all 79 suspension, 79 front brakes. It has 77 Cadillac Seville rear disc because it's a 77 Cadillac Seville 8.5-inch rear end. It had a 342 posi, which was too much for him on the highway with 3-speed tranny, so we put 241s in it for him, so it's a highway bomber. He had this god-awful 69 Trans Am spoiler on the trunk, and he had these white stripes on it, on the whole car like a Trans Am. The first thing I did was get rid of them. I just had the hood repainted, get rid of the stripes. It's a 400 fiberglass hood. I have a hood tack I got to put on it. I have the trunk lid in the basement I got to put on, and the cowl panel I had repainted also. No more stripes. Has stripes in the cowl too, so that's all gone. And the rest of the body I have to clean up, buff out. I mean, the paint is in good shape. It's just dirty and never been buffed or cut or any kind of bodywork terms you want to throw at it. Never had any work done to the body at all other than just the paint. And they drove it. Never waxed it, nothing. So it needs a good cleaning, a thorough clay bar and polish, and see how much I can revitalize it. So I've always liked this body style ever since high school. I've always loved this car. It was just a rotted old shit box I got from my brother's friend back in 1998. I wanted to restore it to my taste. The taillight panel is white. I have to paint that black. That's hideous. It's got 2.5-inch brush exhaust on it. It's really loud. So I'll probably cut in these extra mufflers. It's an old turbo Buick trick. When you put mufflers like this on it, they drone. So you put the transverse muffler in and it Not only gets rid of the drone on a V6 Buick, but it also makes the exhaust half as loud. It makes it really quiet. I don't know how quiet this car is ever going to be, but we'll see. That's something else to do later. So I'm working on it. Like I said, I've been doing a little cleaning up. You know, nothing fit right. The front splash pan, my nephew had a little fender bender and bent it all up, so I took it off, banged it all out. The lights didn't fit very well, so I made them fit better. And I bought a couple of trim pieces for it. I'm going to change the front bumper now, because this bumper is a little bit bent, and it's just beat to shit. It's all tired. This is an original 68 bumper off a 400 car. Has the 400 crest in the middle. Only 400 cars had that. And the hockey sticks, they call these. Regular Firebird stop here. 400s have this little dog leg. So, this emblem's broken. This arrowhead's pounded. So I bought a new arrowhead, I bought a new Pontiac emblem. I'll take it all apart, clean everything up, paint it. I got a new bumper. I scored off eBay. Brand new bumper, $200. Delivered. I mean, you can't really do better than that. It's Chinese, of course, but 90% of everything you buy nowadays is anyway. So we'll swap this out, put it back in the car, and just make it look a little nicer. And I'm taking these rubber thingies off. They look like they're new, but this asshole painted the car, painted them black. You can see on this one really well. Stupid ass. I guess you never heard of tape. I mean, this should come right off, but I mean, come on, really? Seriously? Have a little pride in your work, will you? So anyway, I'll clean these up and put them on correctly, fasten them right. Just little bullshit like this I have to get done. I'll paint the grills and make them pretty again. I mean, they're ugly. Somebody painted them flat black at one point, and they're supposed to be silver. So I'll doll these up nice and just repaint everything, make it look presentable. And I'll try to chronicle what I can, and we'll go from there. So this is the first installment of my Firebird revitalization. Stay tuned.